friends, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I carved up a book, drew this little house, built this house out of paper, and then I'm going to make a lino cut of the drawing as well to put on top of the book. So let's do this thing. So here's the book I'm starting with. It's a perfectly good book. I already started carving it up a bit just to see what it'd be like. It's actually not a perfectly good book. It's 4 books. It's a Reader's Digest. I would say it's not a perfectly good book at all because it's a Reader's Digest. Like, I don't understand the concept of Reader's Digests. Maybe someone can explain it to me why you'd want to read, like, part of a book? Like a abridged version of a book. It seems insulting. I don't know. I guess these authors must be cool with it. Anyway, 4 books in one book. I'm cutting it up. It was really fun. I cut in those little like tree branches, and I did a few pages for each section and then glued them together, so I got kind of like a little more substantial bit of branch. And this part was really fun. I enjoyed this. I thought it'd be a pain cutting up a book. Like, I thought it'd be horrible, but it was actually pretty enjoyable. The hard part about it, other than, like, it's kind of hard on the fingers, but the hard part is I kept, like, reading the book. Like, I was getting sucked in, you know, this one's a murder mystery, and they found a body. And I was getting totally sucked in. So, like, I kind of read these 4 books. I, like, just read little snippets of all of them, and the stories, like, made no sense doing that, but I did find out that the killer was Brant, and oh no, and I was stuck in the house with him. Yeah, it was hard. Like, the lady, she kicked him and got away. It was fine, but I did get sucked in a few times. Overall, carving up a book, though, fun time, and I would recommend it. So anyway, that's that. Moving on. As I said, I'm going to draw this house. It is an ornate Victorian house. There's a picture of it. It's actually Second Empire, if you want to get particular. This is a house in Michigan. Like I said, it's very ornate, lots of trim. I just did a contour drawing, so that's where you just like look at the edges of things and draw. I guess that's a pretty bad description of what contour drawing is, but you look at the edges and then you draw them. I don't think my proportions were like too great, but you know, you can get there. I got there eventually. I use a circle template to do this crazy trim. Sorry, that's Megan. Megan's not helpful. I use a circle template, and I just filled in a ton of detail. And I don't know what to say beyond that. I mean, I started drawing again. I drew when I was a kid, and then I started back up again during the pandemic. There's a lot of really good artists on YouTube that can show you how to do these pen and ink drawings, and I'm a big fan of them. And I really enjoyed doing this drawing, and I would totally recommend, if you have the time, to just sit down and do like a really detailed drawing, because it's very satisfying. And then I decided to cut out the windows of this drawing, and I cut out the drawing itself so that I would have like a Lucy. And that's going to help me later, but for now, I'm going to move on to building the house out of paper and cereal boxes. So as you can see here, I'm just laying it all out. Got it all cut out. It can't be very deep. I think I figured out I had about 1.5 centimeters to work with inside my book. So I'm just building a tiny roof right now for the porch. So didn't have much depth. I had to really think in layers, which is why I thought this project would be fun. I kind of just wanted to try to think in layers. And it was fun. That part of it was fun. It was challenging. As you can see, it's very small and detailed. This is quilling paper. Quilling is a hobby that I tried and didn't get too into, but quilling paper is awesome. I think this is 2mm. It's just like really nice, beautiful paper that is a really good scale for the kind of stuff that I do. So I'm throwing some siding on this house, and fortunately it makes it like look nice and uniform when you already have your paper cut for you. So I decided to pretty much do cooling paper for all kinds of stuff. I did the bricks in this paper. I did all the trim. I did this a little bit out of order. I should have done this light green before the dark green, but what can you do? I wasn't looking at the reference photo when I did it, so I screwed up. But yeah, I'm just doing the bay window here. This ornate Victorian house has an awesome bay window on the front that goes all the way down to the ground, and I'm just kind of cheating and using tape to get my angles right. Then you just make the little base, and that's a cheater bay window for you. And I had to go back and cut in the basement windows. Megan loves quilling paper, by the way. She wants to eat it whenever I get it out. So I always have to fight her off. She knows. She just like hears it and comes running. I'm just building a porch right now. I had built a little piece of porch and I put quilling paper on it to make my slats. This is a staircase. I needed a really steep staircase to go on the front of this because I have to fit a porch and a staircase within this like 1 centimeter of space that I have. So, I will show you how terrifying of a porch this is. It's a drop. That's okay though. Now I'm just doing a bit of painting. I did need this bottom part to be gray, but I made it from green paper, so these are just Vallejo paints. It goes over pretty nice, so it's like not too big of a deal. Painted up the doors. I painted that little porch too. Now I'm just gluing it on. This is pretty exciting. I had worked so long making all these pieces, and then I finally got to actually assemble them into something sort of 3D, although still very flat. That's about 1 centimeter deep, so that's where most of my space went that will be inside the cavity of the book, in the depth that was consumed by the front porch. This is just a piece of parchment paper that I colored on with Sharpie. So that's going to be a window that is like, you know, the lights off. Now I'm figuring out the mansard roof. It's a concave mansard roof, if you want to get technical. They're really hard to make. This took me a while to figure out. I'm not even showing you all the mistakes that I made and all the roofs that didn't work. So this one, I'm making it look kind of easy, but it actually wasn't very easy. You have to figure out how your angles meet together. So that's the tricky bit. I just use paper and try and try and try. That's kind of my method for a lot of things, actually. Just try and fail like 100 times until you figure it out. And I thought about cutting out a million tiny little shingles, but I just like don't hate myself that much, so I decided to just draw them. So I just drew them on there, and I thought they turned out fine. It was like an acceptable thing that I allowed myself. I think it still looks good. And I painted them. It's meant to look like a slate roof. I think it's synthetic, but it's meant to look like slate. So I did paint some of the shingles a different color to try and make it look more slatey. Mansard roofs are tricky. I think it'd be cool to have one of these houses. I would like to go in the attic and just see what the framing looks like because it's weird to try to imagine it. But I've not been inside one of these, unfortunately. Now I'm just adding the cornice returns. Those are the little, I don't know, corners. And I have my porch posts, which really makes this a lot cuter, having a little tiny porch. I didn't do every detail, honestly. It was so hard. It was so tiny. And I was so tired. At this point, I was so tired. These are just little brackets. This house has so many details, and I added so much paper, and then every time I would look at the reference image again, I'd be like, oh, I forgot some. I gotta do more trim. It happened so many times. I was so tired of doing tiny trim. So, this is one of the harder pieces of trim that I worked on. This is the gingerbread trim that goes around that gable on the front, and it's like so ornate, and I did such a terrible job of it. Like, it was so hard to cut. I don't know. I tried. You'll see. It's okay. It was hard though. Now I'm just putting in a porch light. It's basically just a pinhead. You put a bead on a piece of wire. So building a tiny Victorian house out of paper to live inside a carved out book, I would do it only once. I gave this 4 stars. This is pretty rough, actually. It looks good, but it was rough. Not my favorite build. And now I'm just gonna paint the book black so it looks cooler. It's kind of an ugly color, but I don't want to be able to read the text on the front page, so that's why I did that. I'm using pan pastel here to try and make the house look a little more lived in, like not brand new. I actually went a little heavy-handed on this and got sad because I don't really like how it turned out. Like right there, too much. And you can't take it away. I tried. It doesn't go away, so regrets. I have regrets. It's fine. I'm just painting the whole book black. It's just acrylic paint. Oh, there's Megan. She wants you to subscribe. I painted the whole book black. And now I'm moving on to making a lino cut. If you're not familiar with lino cuts, well, I'm going to show you like what it is, but I wanted a sketch of my drawing so that I would have kind of like a loose version of it. So I ended up doing that in Procreate, and I got this like block printing kit a while ago, and I hadn't really had an occasion to use it, so I figured this was like the perfect opportunity because I already made this really ornate drawing. So got this kit out. It comes with all the tools you need. It comes with the little, I don't know, it's like lino. It's this rubber mat thing, and their instructions said you can print off your image and then use an iron to transfer it on to lino. It didn't do a great job. I could have tried printing it again, like maybe the ink kind of got too cool, or maybe my iron wasn't warm enough. I don't know which, but I was just lazy. My printer's in the basement and I didn't want to go to the basement, so I just decided to draw what was missing. And then I started to hack away at this thing, and this is the first time I've done lino. I thought it was really fun. I went really timid to start, but then I started really digging in, and it is just like a really enjoyable activity. It's very tactile. The knife just like slides into it, and then you pop out the pieces. You just have to keep your black lines visible. I really liked it. I ended up with like even that looks like pretty cool, and that's before we even get any ink down or anything. So you throw down your ink. I'm just using a piece of glass from a picture frame, and I probably should have had it flat on the desk. You can see it like bouncing there, so I think that's why I kept getting like bad ink transfers. But this is a page from the book. It was like the front page that was blank. wanted to see how this went. My first one, not great. Basically, I just did a whole bunch of these to see if I could improve or see what worked better or did not work as well. And by like the 5th one or so, this one, I felt like I got a good transfer, so that's gonna go on the front of my book. Looks pretty good, right? So now I got a black book. I'm sealing the edges of the papers with Mod Podge, so the pages won't flap around. And I painted a title on the end. I did that in gel pen initially, and then the Mod Podge smeared it all over the place, so then I had to paint it again. That was unfortunate, but lessons learned. Now I'm just adding some foliage. That's sponge flock that I made in my Stardew Valley episode, the last episode I did. And adding some reindeer moss. I just want to like make the house look a little more realistic, a little more lived in. Added some moss and some spots. And the final detail, of course, gotta put a pumpkin on the porch. I have these teeny tiny little pumpkins that I made last year for no particular reason. And stuck one on the porch. So here it is. Here's my Victorian house in a book. I really like how it turned out. It's got a lot of mistakes and stuff, but nothing I can't live with. As far as projects go, I thought it was really fun. Carving out the book was probably the funnest part, although I really enjoyed the lino too. 2 types of carving, I guess. Both very enjoyable. Making the house itself, Anyways, the next book I'm going to destroy, which it's going to be a little while, but I think it'll be an ongoing thing. I have a massive Mark Twain collected works that got rain damaged or water damaged, and that's next. Thanks for watching.